Hey, three people watching, welcome back. We're getting ready to get the other panelists in here. They will be in shortly to start up Spider News. Hey, Peter, what's up?
Good evening. Just doing some my daughter's laundry.
And look like you washed the crawl space shirt too. We're
Yes.
twinsies. George, what's up?
Hey, George.
Hey, what's up, Peter?
Oh,
How you doing?
doing my kids' laundry.
You're a good dad.
Thank you.
Hello, 5 people watching.
Oh, I need to put this on the Discord.
Hey, can you do the trick? I forget what it is in Discord where you tag everybody. And
I did that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Because that really boosted the numbers when you did that.
Yeah, I did that.
What's the shortcut? Is it at all or something?
At everyone.
At everyone. Okay.
If you do at and start typing everyone, you'll be able to select it.
Went into the kitchen, got me a bowl of cheese balls.
Don't do it at like 3 a.m.
Why?
Because a lot of people get alerts.
Oh, I
And
thought
it'll
you might
set
get
that-
cheese balls from the kitchen. Hey, Ashley.
Hello.
Hey, Ashley.
Are you a cheese ball fan, George?
I am. Planters?
Ooh, the old Planters ones. They brought them back, too.
Yes. Yes.
Are these
Yeah.
like cheese puffs or like an actual cheese ball?
Here, I will show you the bowl that I went up to the kitchen.
Oh, they're cheese puffs.
Are they cheese balls? I thought they were cheese balls.
When I think cheese ball, I think like, the ball of cheese is like coated in nuts and stuff and you dip crackers into it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
Hi, Ashley.
Venkman, you have a beef
Hi,
with
George.
me about Hulk and Endgame. Hit me. What's your beef? Let me guess. You liked a weak, one-armed Hulk.
That would be interesting.
Hulk with a little tiny baby arm.
Oh no!
Oh my god, like
Hulk
Deadpool.
T-Rex. Hulk T-Rex. Yeah. Go ahead, Venkman. What's your beef? Wouldn't it be cool to see Immortal Hulk as a movie? That would be cool. George, do you like Hulk? I mean, are you a Hulk comic guy?
I've always liked the Hulk. I haven't liked anything done with the Hulk probably for the last 20 years.
Same. You should read Immortal Hulk. Great book. My heaven, it hasn't been this good in 20 years since Paul Jenkins wrote it.
I did like Jenkins.
I did too.
I enjoyed it.
I didn't like Pack, with the exception of World War Hulk. I didn't like Planet Hulk, actually.
I
Peter
don't like.
David do some good Hulk stories?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Peter David ended in the 90s though. He's my
Yeah.
favorite.
I don't like Hulk stories where we're thinning it out, like Son of Hulk and Red Hulk and Red She-Hulk, and that stuff can kiss my dimpled rear.
What about She-Hulk?
I love She-Hulk.
Yeah. She's in the Avengers now, but she's not smart. She's still enraged from Thanos. So. Oh, Neil, I am so sorry. I didn't send you a link. Hold on. Sorry, Neil.
That was Brad's way of saying, sorry, Neil, you're no longer with the.
I'm so sorry.
I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Give me a
I don't
moment.
know if McNulty wants to join us either.
Ask him.
Here, I'll just send him an invite. Let's see here. Hey, Zach, welcome.
It's good to be here. Are we live? Oh, of course we're live.
Yeah, we're live. We're on the air. What? You can text me if you want to say something privately.
You
can slip in my DMs.
Just say it, Zach.
There you go, McNulty. If you'd like to join us.
Like I was thinking about. Oh, by the way, you like my new sign?
Yeah, Spider-Man Street.
Yeah,
Spider-Man Street. That's cute. Hey, Neil.
But one of the
Neil.
things I was thinking about was kind of, how we kind of just BS for like 20 minutes before we actually start the show.
Yeah.
Maybe, just because we never edit the episodes, right? Because I've been watching a lot of YouTubes lately.
We never edit the. Yeah, I do. I edit the audio.
You edit the audio, but you never edit the video.
No, it's live. It's what they call straight to tape, live to tape.
Okay.
Also, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Zach.
Well, what I was thinking about was just when we start the stream, just start the show. But it's your
I
show,
can't
buddy.
because no one's ever ready.
I know people show up late, like some douchebag named Zach.
No, I mean, people. We need to. Well, hold on. We need to chit chat a little bit before.
We need to get into the groove.
Yeah, we need to get in the groove. Yeah.
Really, we should probably get Brad should be like, all right, we're gonna start at 8:30 and do like what we used to do with some members of my family. Be like, we're really gonna start at 9, but we're gonna tell everybody 8:30 so everybody shows up on time.
Nah, I say we start at 9. We start at 9.
Also, Brad, I can explain why She-Hulk is dumb. So what happened? Yeah, in Darren's Avengers run.
What? Yeah, I know. She got beat up by Thanos. She got into the hospital.
Well, but but the problem is that she got better in the She-Hulk run. But what actually happened editorially was that Aaron wanted to use Bruce Banner as Hulk for the Avengers, but then Ewing got a hold of him for Immortal Hulk. So then what Aaron did was that he ignored her getting better in her own run and made her dumb again because he wanted to use the Hulk.
Oh, I see. I actually don't mind it in Aaron's run. George, spoiler alert, She-Hulk and Thor are knocking boots.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. That's funny. Here's Vink.
I love Ashley's jammies. I'm not going to lie. They're cute.
What are you doing? What are they?
They're owls with hearts on them.
Oh. Okay, here's Vinkman's beef with me about the Hulk. He says, it seems like you only like Hulk when he's Savage Hulk, but your favorite era is the Peter David run. And when I think of Peter David's run, I think of Smart Hulk. Isn't that Professor Hulk? Actually, during Peter David's run, you had Mr. Fix-It, which is the Gray Hulk.
Actually, you're so becoming comic book guy at this moment.
I'm sorry.
Actually, there with multiple Hulks there, and therefore your thing about the Hulk is completely wrong, sir.
Oh no.
I think
that's exactly what you're doing right now, Douglas.
Actually,
I have just as much passion for the Hulk as I do Spider-Man, so I can talk Hulk. So you got Mr. Fix-It, which is the Gray Hulk in Vegas. You got Professor Hulk. You've got is it Devil? No, that was
Guilt Hulk.
That was Jenkins with Devil Hulk. And you've got Savage Hulk, and you've got Professor Hulk, and Mr. Fix-It, and those three merged into Professor Hulk.
Isn't Guilt Hulk like one that he suppressed inside of his own head?
I don't know about Guilt Hulk. Anyway, Peter David's Mr. Fix-It I like a lot, and also his Smart Hulk is okay. I do like a Hulk that has enough to form a sentence and be a little mischievous. So I don't like Hulk smash totally. I like an evil kind of Hulk a little bit.
Like the Gray Hulk?
There is a version of Hulk where he's green and he's smart, which is what you are seeing currently in Immortal Hulk. And that's more of Devil Hulk. But I kind of like Hulk that's kind of intelligent.
I always assumed the Hulk in this one is kind of like an amalgam of Devil and not necessarily Savage, but like just the default Hulk. Where he's smart, but it's more like he's taken Banner's intelligence and uses it in a more brutal and efficient way, as opposed to.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Mike, what's up?
Hey guys.
Hey, Mike.
Probably can stay a little while. Can show up, stay a little while, and everything like that.
Can't see you.
Yeah, I guess got it. I know my camera just got. I don't have my camera plugged in.
Okay.
I just plugged it in. Yeah.
Hi. I heard you watched the bad movie.
Oh yeah, that was just an evening well worth spent.
What's your grade on Dark Phoenix?
Okay.
I will say this. No spoilers, but
oh no. It won't spoilers. I will say this.
No one cares for spoilers. Go ahead, spoil it.
Okay, yeah.
No,
well, I will say this. It's not as bad as X-Men: The Last Stand. It's worse.
Is it though? We talked about this, Mike.
Here's the thing. Hold on.
Sadly, I like Last Stand.
To give you I mean, I kind of have a better appreciation for it now, but to give you an idea of how badly written this movie is, I'm going to present you guys a little bit of a challenge. I'm going to present you 2 lines of dialogue from this film. I'm only going to give half of them, and you're going to guess what the other line is.
Yes.
Okay, so the setup is Jessica
Ashley
Chastain's
is soul
character.
is happy.
I'm here for
So
this.
this is for those who have not seen the film, by the way. So the setup is that you have Jessica Chastain is confronting with Sophie Turner, who's Jean Grey and everything like this, and Jessica Chastain is basically head of a race of aliens which are pretty much Skrulls. Yeah. Already you laugh at this thing.
Well, wait a minute. Are they whoa. Are they the Shi'ar?
No, they're not.
No.
Like,
Then why
they're
bother?
Scroll.
Yeah,
Well,
because they were.
So here's the
I
thing.
want that dialogue.
In an early cut of the
She's
film,
not Lalandra?
no, she's not. Like, they're supposed to be the Skrulls. Like in the early cuts of the film, it's supposed to be the Shi'ar, but in like later cuts, apparently they changed it to like be not Skrulls.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So anyway, the line of dialogue that Jessica Chastain tells Sophie Turner is this: "Your emotions make you weak." What does Sophie Turner say in response?
My emotions make me strong.
That's exactly what I was just going to say that.
Oh no.
You two could write this movie.
We're gonna work that into our D&D session on Monday.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Probably.
okay.
My
So
emotions make me
similarly,
strong.
Yeah,
there
actually.
was a line in Godzilla that
Oh.
made me giggle.
Godzilla's great.
That was my favorite part. That it was a very
I have not seen
heartfelt
Godzilla yet. no.
monologue from Godzilla, and it really resonated with me. And that was my favorite monologue I've seen on screen. No, the line in Godzilla that made me laugh was they say, "It looks like the sky looks like it's alive. That's because it is."
I know. That made me laugh.
It's like listening to a Transformers movie.
Except, how dare you?
I haven't seen Godzilla, and I actually want to see Godzilla.
Was it good, Peter?
But,
Yes. Okay, this is coming from a Godzilla fan since he was 2.
Because I'll tell you, I hated that first one.
Mhm.
Yeah. I didn't like it either.
Yeah.
This one is really centric on all Godzilla fans. That's what Mike Daughtry tried to do. I think he succeeded. Now, there's a lot of bad reviews out there saying, like, one of the reviews made me laugh. It's like, oh, there wasn't enough human aspect to it.
I don't need a human. No, I don't need
I
it.
want
to a
Godzilla
Godzilla
for the
to see a
human.
human aspect.
I
Like,
want to
if
see
you're here
monsters
for any
fighting each
reason
other.
other than giant monsters fighting each other, what even are you doing?
The human parts
Well,
are
what's
always
that in?
they're always the most boring of a Godzilla movie.
Then you're going to
I
love this.
just want to
movie,
see the monster fight.
Yeah.
You're going to see monsters fight. That's
If I want emotion, give it to me through Godzilla.
yeah.
Find
You're
a way to make me empathize with Godzilla.
You will.
Godzilla and Mothra make out.
No, they don't make.
That's how you put emotion.
One thing I want to know, and if you haven't seen the film, don't listen to me. Mute yourself. But are the little Mothra fairies in it? Because I love the little Mothra fairies. I love their little song.
There's a reference to it. There's a reference to it. You're gonna like that. You're gonna hear that too.
Peter, did you like their remastering of the Godzilla theme?
Oh, I loved it. I blasted
know
that. I
it
was on
was,
my way to work.
The guy who did it was the guy who composed the soundtrack for God of War.
Ooh.
Yeah, respect.
All right, we need to get started, y'all. Ashley, I'm going to lead with you. I led with you last time. I'm going to lead with you
Well,
again.
that's a good segue, actually. We're talking about movies, and we'll segue into the Far From Home trailers.
Actually,
Don't do that.
Can we
People
talk
say
about
actually,
Godzilla
it sounds like Ashley.
I like
Actually,
your suggestion. Talking
Okay,
about Godzilla.
if we're going to do this, we can't talk over each other. We got a lot of panelists, so be aware of talking over each other, all right? Okay.
So translation, Zach needs to mute and shut the F up.
No, we talk over each other a
No,
lot.
really, that's what that means.
Okay, so the person who has
My
the
itch is
topic,
George.
he's talking over me.
So Your Honor.
So the person that has the topic, they talk a little bit, then we open it up. Okay, Ashley, we're going to start. Let me coming down in 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to our news podcast, Spider News, that is. Let's introduce the panel. We've got Ashley. What's going on, Ashley?
Hey, I'm here again.
And we have Peter, Chi-Town Spidey. What's up, sir?
Hey guys, good evening.
We have George. What's going on?
If you're listening to this without having seen the YouTube video, I want you to go to the YouTube video right now because I'm doing jazz hands, and it's really compelling.
What's going on, Mike? Hello.
Hey, I'm a little bit looking forward to some Spidey instead of some X-Men for once.
he just saw Dark Phoenix. Your grade, sir?
I would probably give that probably a pretty close to D, actually, or C minus. You know,
what would
if
you
I'm being
give
generous.
Apocalypse, which I thought was really poor?
It's probably about the same, actually. Yeah. Although I actually thought Apocalypse was a little bit more fun than this one.
Oh wow!
Say goodbye to the Foxmen.
And we have Neil. What's going on, Neil?
I'd rather talk about Godzilla than Spider-Man today.
And we have Zach. What's going on, Zach?
If you love this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Go
away, Philip.
Don't talk over each other. There you go.
Philip.
Okay. We have Far From Home has some new trailers. This movie will be out in less than a month.
Jesus.
I know. July 2 is what the release date is.
It's the day before my birthday.
There you go. Happy birthday. You get
it may not be a very happy birthday for George, but
it'll be a fine birthday for me because I ain't seeing this.
The new Far From Home trailers are out. Ashley, talk a little bit about that for me. What are in the trailers?
So we got several new little spots on Far From Home, and there's a recurring theme. I repeat these for you, George. The world needs its next Iron Man. Are you going to be the next Iron Man? Now repeat that about ad nauseum 6 times for several different TV spots.
So he's
one of these new
so
trailers.
much Iron Man. So little time.
He's a legacy hero, it seems like now.
He even gets his glasses.
He gets Iron Man's glasses.
Basically.
And he sees Ned and Betty Brant texting each other.
Mm-hmm. And he sees them on the bus texting each other. And he's got like this weird Big Brother overlay in his glasses where apparently Iron Man built this tech where he can see what people are texting each other, and I'm like, great, that's not creepy.
It's like Google Glass on roids.
He also built a new suit from Iron Man's Quinjet, it looks like. Did you see that in the trailer?
Is it the black suit?
No, he built the black and the red suit. Yeah.
We have that. We have a lot more of the Iron Spider suit that we love so much from Endgame and Infinity War.
Yeah.
Mostly, we really didn't get too much new stuff. This seemed like an excuse to just, I don't know if they're seeing this as the main appeal of the movie, but lots of big, bombastic things.
Nope. Do we lose Ashley?
I get rip. Press F to pay respects.
He has a funny line with the cops talking about you won't need me if I have to do your job all the time. I thought that was kind of clever. That's something he would say to the cops. I thought that was cute. You got Jon Favreau saying, "Get to the come with me if you want to live," and then the Quinjet explodes.
It's also tiresome.
So I kind of have lost Ashley at the moment, unless you're there, Ashley. Okay. So let's open it up to the panel. What did you think of the trailer? George, let's hear from you.
Didn't watch him.
You didn't watch him. Okay.
I didn't watch him. I'm not going to say this.
Neil, what do you think of the trailer?
Okay, so if you're watching the YouTube video, you can see my face right now, and this expression I have right now is indicative of how I feel. It's also tiresome. I just want it to end.
Why?
Stop.
Why?
I don't watch a Spider-Man movie to see like Spider-Man on his knees kowtowing to a statue or a painting of Iron Man. I come to a Spider-Man movie to see a Spider-Man movie about Spider-Man. I don't come to see Iron Man Jr. running around pretending to be Iron Man.
Yeah. Is this because we are such Spider fans, and this is such a different version? Is this why we're so offended?
I will say this. I am open to characters being reinterpreted. I'm open to that. I'm open to small changes. But when you butcher the characters to the point where they aren't even really the same character anymore, like you've got Michelle Jones, who is an abrasive jerk, and you've got Betty Brant, who is Betty in nothing but name. and Ned, who is only Ned but just Genki from Miles' story, then what's the point of making a Spider movie when the characters have nothing in common with Spider-Man?
Ah, there you are, Ashley. You're back. You're back.
Okay, I'm back.
Another big thing from the trailer, Michelle Jones knows that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. What do you think of Michelle Jones knowing this?
He's avoiding saying the letters MJ.
I almost
MJ,
that way.
yeah, intentionally.
Yeah.
So the way
Intentionally
Norbert is not going to go into full-on rage because, like, I've watched this poor man on Facebook sit there and get in like these Iron Man Jr. George Berryman rants. I don't know why I gave that voice to him, but I
Here's
did.
the thing.
Yeah, because I sound just like that.
Here,
But
go-
you see, the thing is,
Shh,
like,
Mike.
guys, I think we're kind of all down on this movie. See, because I'm looking forward to Iron Man Jr. Far From Spider-Man.
So leave. You're not welcome here anymore.
I'm going to post
kidding,
that on
folks.
Facebook, Mike. Thank you very
That's
much.
really funny. Overall, Ashley, what do you think of the trailers? Are you excited to see the film?
I'm excited that we have.
Oh,
Stop
Frozen,
dying.
Man.
Frozen again, man.
Oh,
Let's
gosh.
go to Peter about the Michelle
Oh.
Jones knowing.
Oh, we're gonna have a fun time with this.
Peter, what do you think of
Oh,
Michelle
yeah.
Jones knowing?
I don't have my popcorn.
I don't
Darn.
care.
Let loose, my son.
You don't care.
I just don't care. I don't care about seeing Iron Man Jr. Far From Spider-Man, just like Mike said. I don't care about Gwen Stacy lookalike that's really Betty Brant and Genki lookalike that's really Ned texting each other when they're sitting right next to each other saying that they miss each other. Turn your head, you'll see them. What? I don't care about Peter having holographic glasses talking to the next Friday or Thursday or Wednesday or Jarvis. I don't care about Iron Man Jr. Who's going to be the next Iron Man? Who's going to be the next Iron Man? I have gone on Facebook. I have ranted about this so many times, and I get blasted by fanboys from the Marvel Cinematic Universe saying, "No, you're wrong. It's Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man." This is not Spider-Man. I'm sorry.
May I
Go ahead.
rebut him? I've been
rebut.
waiting. I have been waiting for this for so long, Mr. Norbert.
Go ahead.
All right, here's my thing. If the
You're wrong.
story excuse me, I got some stuff in my eye. Let me get that out of there. Anyway, let me make my point.
Go ahead, Zach.
If the story that's being told, sorry, my dad just walked in. Naturally, if the story that's being told is that Peter Parker is not necessarily becoming the next Iron Man, but Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man, okay, that makes sense. The problem that I have is that they're leaning so far into the one thing we hated about Homecoming. One of the biggest criticisms that I've seen about Homecoming is the over-reliance on Tony Stark, which I didn't think was that big of a deal, but that was one of the big, across the board, it was a big criticism. So what do we do in this post-Endgame era? We're going to lean straight into
That's okay.
into that particular problem. So if the story that's being told is that Peter Parker realizes I can't be the next Iron Man because Iron Man's Iron Man. I'm not Iron Man. I'm Spider-Man. If that's the story that they're looking to tell, which is what I kind of get the vibe that they're trying to do,
I don't.
then that's a compelling enough story.
No.
The problem is that again, and I know George is going to bring this up or going to come after me on this, so I'm prepared. But in the context of the MCU during a post Infinity War and Endgame, where the most significant death in MCU history just occurred with the death of Iron Man, and this is the very next movie and taking place literally weeks after the events of Endgame, I can understand them from a storytelling aspect still going through this Iron Man stuff. Do I love I remember in the JMS run enjoying the Jarvis Aunt May relationship, and if that's what they're trying to do with Happy, I'm okay with it. And I like you talk about the suit. I actually like the fact that Peter Peter did design this suit himself. It wasn't designed by somebody else. Peter built the suit and used the resources around him because that's what Peter Parker does. Peter Parker did it with Parker Industries. Peter Parker did it with when he was married with Mary Jane. How many costumes do we get in the 90s? I mean, the spider armor suit, for example, the from Web 100 and things along those lines. So using the resources he has around him is something that Peter Parker does. Now, do I think he should have access to billions and billions of dollars of technology? Probably not. But in the sense, in the context of the MCU, okay, all right. I actually like the fact that Peter actually was the one that made this suit. This wasn't another suit that was left for him by Tony freaking Stark.
Okay, well, Zach, I'm gonna interrupt you right there. And first off, you get a point of shame for using Parker Industries as an argument in your favor.
I thought the same thing. Yes.
So shame on you.
Yes.
And also, again, you're saying like, oh, Peter's doing it by himself. Well, no, he's using Iron Man's tech to build his own suit again. Like, even if it's Peter building his suit, Iron Man basically just left him a lab full of materials to build his own suits. That's still relying on Tony in a proxy.
Yep.
Peter had a chance to be his own man in Homecoming when he was trapped under that debris. What did he think about Tony Stark? If you can't do it without the suit,
you don't deserve to have it.
And that gave him the adrenaline that he needed. And and then he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." Oh wait, that was just a test, right? And then Avengers comes along and goes, "Hey, Mr. Stark, what's going on, Mr. Stark? Where's Shellhead?" And I mean, what he hung upside down and said, "Speaking of loyalty, because he's very loyal to Mr. Stark. I mean, it's still Mr. Stark."
Mr. Stark, it smells like a new car in here.
Exactly.
George, you were disagreeing with Zach a lot on those points. Rebut him a little bit, please.
Well, I mean, in a sense, for this film, Zach's right in that. I mean, that's where it's bound to pick up from. We don't need an entire second movie to get past Iron Man's legacy. We could do it in 5 minutes at the get-go. Happy showing him, oh, hey, he left you all the stuff. And Peter turning his back and saying, no, I'm my own man, and walking the hell out. And then never talking about Iron Man again for the rest of the film. Although it's wrong. And I said this, ad nauseum last time at length with Homecoming. It was the completely wrong direction for the character to begin with. MCU Spider-Man is garbage.
Yep.
MCU Spider-Man is garbage. It's not Spider-Man. I can't really be more strong than that, I don't think. But no, I mean, do you think that it takes so much away from the character? It takes so much away from the character.
Here's my question. Do you think this is a product of the Sony relationship and Sony being so desperate to cling to the MCU aspects?
Yeah.
No,
they're not.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't, because and here's why. I think creatively, Sony had jack all to do with MCU Spider-Man.
No, it had creative control. So
No,
the bill, didn't it?
Whoa. No.
Because everything I've been reading lately is that Sony's had final creative control.
Dude, Sony sits back, shuts up, and lets Kevin Feige make them money.
Yeah, but because
that's what
said
Sony
in an
does.
interview. They said it in an interview.
They even Pascal said that. She was like, basically, we just let them do whatever.
I think it was the CEO of Sony or said, you know what, Marvel knows what they're doing. No, and said we're just going to sit back and relax.
So I don't blame Amy Pascal. Amy Pascal's over there in the corner somewhere, doing whatever Amy Pascal does, Amy Pascal things.
I think she left Sony, actually, didn't she?
No,
she left for I think Universal.
Yep.
Yeah, this is her last.
She's done.
This is still tainted with Amy Pascal. Okay, but
this is her last commitment to Sony. This film.
But yeah, I blame Kevin Feige for MCU Spidey. That's who I blame. I blame Feige.
So there's several things that make me less excited about this one than any other Spider-Man film. The Iron Man Jr., the legacy character, he's not a legacy character. Michelle Jones is not Mary Jane. Spider-Man works best in New York City. He's not in New York City. And several people are talking about, Mysterio is going to be a hero. I see that twist. I see that twist coming a mile away.
Everybody does.
I've made multiple comments saying like, the fact that people are so convinced that Mysterio is a good guy proves that they're just a bunch of casuals who don't understand like the fundamentals.
Oh, no kidding.
Even though like they come into the movie saying, "Oh man, I'm such a big fan of the comics," and they go, "Wow, Mysterio is a good guy."
Yeah.
I mean, look, Brad, you're right. I think making Peter Parker a global character, taking him out of New York, is something. Poor Ashley, she's just having nothing but hell right now.
She's having some internet problems. Yeah.
She is. The mantle has been passed on from me to Ashley. It looks like. Actually, more like dark work. But the fact is, I get why they took him out of New York, because there was 5 movies of him inside New York.
That's where he belongs.
6 movies, excuse me, because I mean, Homecoming is the 6th movie. So I get them trying to do something quote unquote different, but you're right. I mean, Peter Parker should be in New York City. I'm a Nick Fury fan. I love both Hasselhoff and Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury. Equally. I think they're both great characters, both in the MCU and in the comics. But I don't know if I love him in a Spider-Man film.
Yeah, I agree.
Look, he was in Ultimate. I know Ultimate's not the real Spider-Man. But they're drawing inspiration from the Ultimate. But like in the here's my other thing about these trailers, as was proven by the Russo brothers with Endgame in the build up to Endgame. How much of this is going to be in the movie? I question, because it seems like now they're producing trailers that have nothing to do with like parts of it that are not going to even be in the movie. Yeah. My good friend, who was my former roommate, he has a policy of he doesn't even watch trailers anymore, because he said, "What's the point? Because there's going to be at least 20% of it that's in the trailer that's not even in the film." So what I mean, we saw that with Endgame, that the way they edited it. We saw that with Infinity War, with the way they edited that trailer. So again, we can sit there and go ad nauseum at length on these trailers. So how much is going to be in there? It'll be interesting to see. Look, if they're going to make this character MJ, her figuring out the problem with MJ in the last film was she was hardly in it. For as much as Zendaya,
she wasn't very likable either.
Yeah, no. She wasn't very likable, and she certainly wasn't didn't have the charisma of a Mary Jane.
Well, she's not Mary Jane. That's the thing. They just put MJ in there as
my
a
friends
joke.
call me MJ.
It's the equivalent of the Ned Leeds.
But
yeah.
To me, that's the other thing that felt such like a Sony move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like that. There's certain things like that aspects of Homecoming that you feel like are a Marvel move, and there's certain aspects that feel like a Sony move. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna pound this table and knock stuff off in the process. I really do believe that not only will the agreement be extended, and we'll find this out come July at San Diego Comic-Con and D23. If the agreement is not extended, by the end of this year, we'll start hearing rumblings of Columbia Studios being purchased by Disney.
Ashley's back. You gotta love internet. You gotta love internet problems. What are you excited for this film? What's your thoughts on the film?
Shut up.
All I'm really excited for at this point is Mysterio, because I think Jake Gyllenhaal was an excellent casting choice, and I am excited for what Jack and I think is going to be done with him. So I think that will be fun. But for everything else, like, I enjoy them as movies, but it's so far removed from what I like about Spider-Man. And I also noticed kind of an unfortunate trend is that, Zach, you were talking about how in terms of the MCU as a whole, this movie is needed as space to come down from Endgame and to kind of let the audience process everything that happened and kind of devote some time to that. but it's not fair to this is Spider-Man, not because he's being kind of shunted out of his own movie for this, but because this is the second time that's happened. Looking at the first Spider-Man movie, looking at Homecoming, it was also a bridge movie from Civil War to Infinity War, and also kind of the aftermath of Civil War.
So Spider-Man gets epilogues.
Yes, exactly. So instead of telling his own story and having any real agency in the goings on of the MCU or within his own story, even, he's relegated to processing the ramifications of what we last concluded on.
This may be the fact that the deal with Spider-Man wasn't made until Civil War, that they had to take the character and shove him in their long-term plans somewhere.
Learning a little bit, we've learned a lot over the last couple of years about the inner workings of how Marvel Studios works and the long-term planning that it takes to get to pull off the MCU. Brad, I think you're really right. I think that this was a direction they were, in a lot of ways, even without Iron Man, they still would have done this type of story. I think Sony would have, even if they were operating independent of the MCU.
It would have been neat to have replace the Hulk movie with have an Iron Man movie and a Spider-Man movie start off the MCU, and a Fantastic Four movie. Wouldn't that have been neat? To start it off that way.
By the way, you mentioned the Fantastic Four movie. I was reading a rumor online that there is talk of doing a 60s era quantum realm Fantastic Four movie.
Where did you read this?
It was on 4chan.
It wasn't on 4chan.
He got it off of 4chan.
No.
4chan cookies. Yeah.
I thought I saw it on Deadline Hollywood.
Oh, they're a reputable source. Sure. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, Deadline Hollywood is a reputable source.
It is.
I would actually count Deadline Hollywood as a completely reputable source.
So
I need a link now, Joiner.
Okay, I'll start looking for a link.
Whose phone's ringing? What's that? Ashley, let's stick with the Homecoming. We're gonna do another topic about Homecoming. Spider-Man is informing people how to fly.
Oh God.
So I don't know what fresh hell Brad threw me into.
The day Ashley became JR.
The basic gist is that United Airlines is doing has redone its safety videos for its flights in tandem, in collaboration with the upcoming Spider-Man film. So it's fun. There's some cameos, and they have like a lot of fun pictures of Spider-Man on set with like the crew and the pilot, and those pictures are really cute and they feel very Spider-Man. But then when you watch the actual in-flight safety video,
yeah.
Okay, I know I shouldn't critique an in-flight safety video, but the narrative is all over the place. But goddamn, what is happening? So in our first act, we open with a little convenience store on the corners getting robbed by these three dudes in leather jackets because leather is the root of all evil.
And it's the
according to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, cows cause global warming. So leather would be an extension of that evil and scourge upon humanity.
It's probably
the convenience store is the one that was in Homecoming. It's the same guy, the same actor that has a convenience store.
So yeah, it's Peter's favorite shop, and so it's getting robbed, and so Spider-Man swings in.
Is this canon? Is this canon to the MCU? Is this canon? Ooh, go make a CBR article about it.
I would be very concerned. I had lots of questions if it's canon. So the guys break in and they're going to hold the guy up. So what does Spider-Man do? He throws a web out to the shop owner and yanks him into a sudden row of flight seats that have been summoned by a tectonic circle into the middle of the shop.
Don't forget to buckle up.
Proceeds to restrain the poor bastard.
Yeah.
Whiplash,
While
baby.
the bad guys get away. Yeah.
Yep.
And this poor shopkeeper is suddenly being told how to put on his seatbelt. Okay, lady, this is great. What about my money? You know, I've got bills to pay.
But you need to know how to buckle and where your exits are.
But thank God I know how to
My
buckle my
livelihood.
seatbelt in these you know, in the flight seats in my convenience shop in case it ever takes off.
What do you want to bet in Far From Home? They all fly overseas in United jets. What do you want to bet? I bet.
Oh, of course they are. Of course they are.
Actually, we have seen that they fly on United.
There you go.
That perfect product placement. Am I right, y'all?
Perfect. They paid for this. Okay,
Yeah.
So the shopkeeper is buckled up as the criminals escape Spider-Man's clutches. Go ahead.
Yes, thankfully the shopkeeper has been apprehended and thrust into harm's way. And I don't know, wherever that flight seat's getting sent back to from the whatever hell it came from, he's going with it.
Again, this is like a 5-minute video on YouTube.
It is 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
Produced by
anarchy.
United. Yeah.
Total narrative anarchy.
Yes.
The bad guys all split up and go separate directions. I think one goes into a theater where they're talking. Everyone has.
Oh, this part.
I think everyone's in line for the Spider-Man movie, but instead they're greeted by the pilot, who is giving them in-flight instructions while they sit in the movie theater and telling them that if they're in the exit row, should anyone need to exit the plane, you know what to do in that event. And the people are probably looking down at their popcorn wondering if it's been laced with LSD or something. Because who goes into a movie theater and gets an in-flight safety video? But Spider-Man, it's okay. Spider-Man drops down and shoots a web at someone
in the theater.
Who? And then suddenly oxygen masks drop down from the ceiling to the floor.
Oh, the movie theater.
That have apparently just been kidnapped because there are no adults. There's just a flight attendant. I don't know who she is. I don't know where she got these things from, but at least she makes sure that they can breathe in the hostile environment of the movie theater. Maybe they're pumping gas into it. Maybe it's like a hallucinogenic. It's Mysterio. Mysterio has pumped the hallucinogenic gas into the theater, and they're trying to hallucinate that they're on a plane.
It's the LSD that you were talking about. That's how they got the LSD to the people in the movie theater. Was through
the LSD combined with the hallucinogenic gas that Mysterio pumped into the theater.
This is called Ashley bringing the funny. Okay,
this is actually becoming JR while JR.
JR and Ashley are the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
that was the second criminal, I think.
That was the first criminal.
Oh, okay.
No. Oh shit.
The second one.
I don't know, because he shoots the web out, but we don't see it connect. We suddenly get the children are rescued by the flight attendant because Spider-Man's too busy missing his shots apparently. But anyways, I guess he apprehends one. He goes after the second. We're going with that. That's the only way this makes any goddamn sense. I've got to fill in the holes myself. So they run outside and Peter saves a man from jumping into a fountain without a life jacket because, I mean, a grown man is surely capable of drowning in a foot of water. I mean, drowning, you can drown anywhere. It's good to be aware that really any water that can cover your nose, you need to be careful. You don't want to fall face first into it. So always have a life jacket on, and a very nice man shows you how to put the life jacket on and inflate it while Spider-Man's just tying up the dude in the background.
Oh my god, my head hurts.
There's a really cute little baby wearing a Spider-Man suit, so gotta get the colors in. They gotta cram as much Spider-Man as they can into here. Next, they're in the park, and Flash is on a bench.
Now, the sticker on his laptop I did think was funny. It said Flash Drive. It was a sticker on Flash's computer. It said Flash Drive. I thought that was cute.
And Flash Mob.
Oh, and Flash Mob. Oh.
Well, it said it's the New York license plate says Flash Drive, and then you got hashtag Flash Mob, and then you've got a Spidey sticker, which is actually indicative of Flash's characterization, both in and out of the movie, where he's a big Spider-Man nut.
While he's tapping away on his
like here's the thing, like he sets the bag down, and he's like, he just feels this like overwhelming sense of relief that he is now no longer a part of this film that is on YouTube.
I'm getting to that. So yeah, he's sitting on this little park bench, concrete bench, just in the middle of this beautiful park, just enjoying the day, getting some work done. This lady is up here narrating alongside him, suddenly telling him, okay, you know, in the event of a whatever
emergency landing, water landing.
You can store your electronics and everything underneath your seat. And so Flash inexplicably is compelled by the narrative hypnosis of this woman that I can put this under the bench. Flash, what are you doing? You're in the park.
Is he on drugs too?
And this is how shit gets stolen in New York City.
Let her finish. Let her finish.
Done where people are more likely to take orders from someone wearing a uniform because they assume the presence of authority just because they see a uniform, whether or not the person is actually capable or authorized to act on any authority. If they're wearing a uniform, people are more likely to do what they say. So maybe it is a statement on that psychological effect and a reference to that study. And maybe we can tie this into the questionable authority of superheroes in general, that they're wearing costumes, which could kind of be like uniforms. So does this same study apply to them?
You're going deeper than this commercial needs.
Actually, you're sowing the weeds on David S. Pumpkins right now.
The commercial was okay. Ashley, the commercial was fueled by drugs, and I'm worried you got some too.
Okay, man. Can I ask a couple of questions?
No, let her finish the plot. Then we'll open it up. Keep going, Ashley. Okay. We're almost done.
But yeah, I'm guessing the reason Flash did this is that he was just lulled into a false sense of security because Spider-Man dropped down and distracted him. He's like, Spider-Man, yes, I'm going to do what this random flight attendant in the park is telling me to do. Where am I? That doesn't matter. Spider-Man's here. Mm-hmm. So remember, on your next flight, if you see Spider-Man, just listen to what whoever is telling you to do.
Jump out the back of the plane.
And you'll be okay.
So, all right.
Actually, ladies and gentlemen.
Bravo. You brought the funny. Okay. You brought the funny. Very good. Okay, we have questions. Zach, you get the first
I have
one.
questions.
Okay. Questions. What were you going to say, Zach?
First things first. At the first appearance of Spider-Man, why is the I've paused the video and I'd like to share it so for our YouTube listeners or viewers to see what I'm talking about.
By the way, I haven't put this United Airline YouTube video up on the front page. I need to.
You do
because this thing is you can type in Spider-Man Far From Home United Airlines and you can see this 4 minute and how many long seconds?
Yeah, 4:45. All right, so
there you go. I'm gonna full screen you. There's the commercial for our YouTubers.
What you see my cursor? Why is it that we have the Universe X Spider-Man in the costume right now?
Oh, he is kind of chunky, isn't he?
He's a little chubby right now.
And like me in costume.
Pilot, what if they're all in on it? Because it's the flight attendant.
By the way, that is so green screen. It's not even funny.
It's a social experiment. It's just a prank, bro.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, there's the three bad guys.
There's three bad guys.
No, I also want to bring up.
Oh my god.
That this begins. The man in the shop owner at the convenience store is watching the in-flight safety video on his TV.
Yeah. But I wanted to point out who the employee of the month was.
Who's Stan Lee's the employee of the month. There you go.
That's cute.
Okay, fast forward a little bit more, Zach. What? Let's see some other clips of this thing. There's the three guys.
There's the airplane.
There's the exits on this plane.
Here's our cameo appearance by Ned. See, they went and also. This is the other question.
Oh yeah,
did they not afford to actually get Tom Holland? No, they had to go get like all the D-list actors that are really super.
Let's watch Spider-Man come down from the theater. This is kind of funny.
If I may, like the guy, the bodega owner, he looked like he wanted to die when he was watching that.
There he comes. There he goes.
Oh my god. Ugh.
All right. You want to talk about green screen? Here it comes.
Where's the green screen?
Boom. Right there.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man, turn off the dark. Now again.
Why is the theater now empty? It was packed, and then that shot it was empty.
And then there's no. And then this is where the LSD
They
is
let
being
their
pumped.
children
In the middle,
lie.
he's like, I'm not dropping this popcorn
And
and
the thing
soda.
is-
Oh, girl, will you help me?
Why?
Okay.
Why?
Thank you. Thank
I'm
you very
too
much.
damn lazy to get my hands off my popcorn and soda. Oh, here
Okay.
comes.
Oh, don't drown, sir. Drown, sir. There you go.
This is like the laws of physics do not. Okay, I get we're talking about Spider-Man for a moment here, but the laws of physics. This does not make a damn lick of sense.
Yeah.
This should be up here.
And then Spider-Man moons us. Watch this. He's coming up. Spider-Man jumps his butt first
Like-
into the lens. Oh, nope. I guess I'm sorry.
He passed. He already passed it.
You already passed it.
And then like he has to look down and make sure that he's like ripping up the bag and putting it. Like, okay, I feel like I need to. I cannot stress this enough. The laws of physics do not work that way. Okay, like it'd be different if you're seeing the guy with like if he was above the guy. Okay, that would work, but not like straight perpendicular from the dude.
Yeah.
No.
Fast forward a little bit more, Zach. Let's see what else we can see.
Okay, here's I was trying
Spider
to-
Baby.
Buy our merch.
Yeah, and this is for the infants because
Oh,
that's
Very
cute.
cute.
Little Spider Baby. Okay, we're gonna get this
What the-
criminal.
Okay,
This
wait
is
a
like
second.
that's the least
Hang on,
intimidating criminal
hang
we'll
on.
ever.
Hang on a second. Go back. Go back to where it was steaming. Like he wasn't there, and then all of a sudden you see his shadow, and he's just there. Like he just.
It's
kinda-
Mysterio. That's
like,
why.
right there. He doesn't
Oh,
even see his
wow.
body before he enters the.
Oh, that's hysterical. Wow. Wow.
This is so bad.
Oh my
This is
god!
so bad.
Why is this taking place in an out? What?
How much
Yeah.
you want to bet they're going to show this before they start the movie when it
Oh
comes
my
out?
God.
Let's flash mob on Flash's laptop.
Okay,
Yeah,
Peter,
hashtag
flash
if they,
drive.
If they do that, the only exit sign I'll be looking for is the one for the theater. I'll
Yep.
just be Bolton.
How did this thing end? Fast forward to the end. Let's see the end.
Oh, he
Yeah,
He looks-
How did it end? It ended
like,
mercifully.
It ended
I feel
mercifully.
safe now that I
like
just
look at
left.
Flash. Like he's
Oh,
like
Flash? Like,
If
I'm
you're-
getting paid.
if you're getting held hostage, blink twice.
Okay,
I know.
obviously there's also a endorsement by Apple because you clearly have an Apple computer and an iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave that $1,200 laptop in my backpack on a bench in New York City.
In Manhattan, or is that
Wow.
Queens?
No, okay, they screwed that up. You could have said you're FNSM or your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but no, they couldn't even get that freaking right.
Flash.
And then why is
Flash-
there?
Why are there airport seats in the middle of a
Thank
movie?
you.
They're
Flash,
probably
it's going to
comfortable.
take off.
Flash
What
looked
is
like he
going-
was trying not to get excited about the quasi MILF standing next to him.
Oh, look, people are mixing with the theater goers.
Why
I stood up in the theater and I clapped. I clapped when I saw Spider-Man.
Okay,
let's
that's
not talk about the completely nonsensical and unholy mashup of Bohemian Rhapsody followed by the Spider-Man theme.
okay. So that was just the weird one, Ashley.
Weird. I
And
don't.
I love the fresh hell that you said I gave you. That's really funny.
I didn't.
Where do we go from here?
We should probably stop sharing.
We want to transition into Venom.
I try.
Well, I will say though, I think you guys are being really unfair to this.
How-
to this
how
teaser,
so,
because
Mike?
when the movie Spider-Man, when the movie Iron Man Jr. Far From Spider-Man crashes and burns, you now have a safety instructional video
How to get out of the
for,
theater?
for that. Yeah, for that adventure.
How to take a
What's
flight
the-
and run for the
what's the
hills.
exit sign?
Neil, let's stick with the movie discussion. Neil, there's talk that Deadpool might have been in the Spider-Man 3 movie, and then there's talk that Sony says no, we want Tom Hardy, Venom in Spider-Man 3, still Far From Spider-Man.
Chocolate and tater tots.
Yeah, so Neil, should Venom be in Spider-Man 3,
I don't
played by
care.
Tom Hardy?
I don't care anymore. Just let it end. Like, okay. So we're making the assumption that Sony has so much pull against the MCU that they're gonna let Venom into, like, Venom, who in this universe is not associated with Spider-Man in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're just gonna have them come.
Okay, this is
Zach,
also
Zach, let him talk. Go ahead, Neil.
Remember that, like, the Venom movie was a financial success, but the only reason people liked it was because it was mind-bogglingly hilariously bad. I don't know why Marvel would want like a critical failure that's just a meme at this point to be reintegrated into a line of bland but critically successful and financially beloved financially blockbuster films. I don't know why they would want that kind of stain on their record.
And why would Tom Hardy's Venom have a motivation to fight Spider-Man? I don't get it. He's over in San Francisco.
Oh no, Brad. The plot demands it. You keep forgetting. The plot demands it.
Sony demanded it. Okay, Zach, what were you gonna say?
I lost my train of thought.
Open it up. Do you guys like the idea of Deadpool being in Spider-Man 3?
No, just let him be on his own.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to develop some MCU sources. And there was, when the development of the Venom movie was going on, Marvel was going to throw Sony a bone and like throw in like a teaser of the symbiote. But Pascal said basically all they wanted was for them to wait a year and release Venom same time, but after Infinity War. So they could introduce like the element of the symbiote in the Infinity War to make it kind of sense.
That would have made sense.
And Pascal allegedly 86'd the idea and said, "No, we don't want your help on Venom. We can do it ourselves."
Well, it's Amy Pascal. It's Amy Pascal. Of course, she had a bad.
That sounds
idea.
like an Amy Pascal thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With in her defense, Venom made what, $800 million? It was not as
because it had no competition at the box office.
Yeah, but $800 million is a lot of money.
In a dead month.
The Chinese love monsters, Brad.
Wow, we're gonna
like
play
the
with
wheel
Chinese.
No, Brad.
Yeah.
The Chinese market saved Venom, just like it saved the Transformers movies and saved Pacific Rim. Saying, "Oh, China will save the film." Of course they will, because they always do.
Wow.
This is like their wheelhouse. That's like Tuesday for them as monster movies.
He's got a point. Pacific Rim was awful.
I would agree.
No, it tanked in the U.S. China saved it.
Pacific Rim.
China almost saved Warcraft.
Are we talking about the first or the second one? I didn't like the first one.
The first one, like
both of them.
I liked the first Pacific Rim. I know that's probably not George is gonna hate me for that, but I liked the first Pacific Rim. But it did terribly financially in the U.S.
Yeah, the whole reason that the second one got made was because of the Chinese market. That's the thing about the Venom movie. The Chinese market was what drove almost 50% of the box office of Venom. Because
so the question, Neil, or anyone, do we want Venom in Spider-Man 3 as the villain?
I want Venom, but not Tom Hardy's Venom. I don't want crashing this plane with no survivors, Tom Hardy. I don't want that Venom.
The one that was born in the darkness.
No one cares until I put on the mask.
You have to
Peter, what
you have to understand. He doesn't talk. He has to. Well, we can't have that Tom Hardy with fake New York accent and all in this thing.
You know, 5 different New York accents because he can't figure out which one works the best.
Peter, go ahead, Peter. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, can we get Spider-Man first and then worry about Venom?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Can we fix what's wrong with Spider-Man?
Peter asking the important questions.
George, you're a big Deadpool fan. Do you want Deadpool ever interacting with Spider-Man?
No, not this Spider-Man. If somewhere down the road a rebooted Spider-Man is, I take that back. You can't really reboot Spider-Man now. It's already the MCU Spider-Man is completely ruined, and MCU is not going to be rebooted anytime soon. We're stuck with a subpar, terrible Spider-Man. So that being stated, no, I don't want that tainting Deadpool.
Here's the problem with introducing Deadpool and Spider-Man in the same film. If it was the Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, especially the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, I think Deadpool would absolutely work because they could riff off each other a little better. I think Tom Holland still comes across as too young to be able to handle that.
I'm thinking
type of
the entire
quippage.
plot would have to be Tom Holland latching on to Deadpool and following him around and calling him Mr. Wilson, and Deadpool figuring out
I will say
Ryan Reynolds would have a ball with that. Actually,
I will say this, that like my problem going forward with the MCU is that Tom Holland looks like a child. He probably won't look like he's hit puberty until he's like 40. So he will never look like he's bouncing off
Well,
of.
some guys
Ryan
just
That
Reynolds.
means we got another 10 years of mediocre Spider-Man movies.
we've got 10 years. We've got 10 more years of Spider-Man being a little boy.
He's a real boy.
And it doesn't
all right.
bounce off of like Ryan Reynolds. That you can't have a little boy
Okay.
bouncing off of Ryan Reynolds.
Let's Zach. Speaking of Venom,
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh my
damn.
God.
You had to go into
they're
this.
they're making a third season of the Spider-Man show that
The
slots.
Spider-Man show that nobody wants.
Nobody watches. I don't watch the show. Maybe we're all too old or something for it.
No, okay.
This
Don't-
season 3 of the Spider-Man show is going to be called Maximum Venom instead of Maximum Carnage. Maximum Venom. Tell me about it.
No. It's worse than that. It's Ultimate Venom.
Oh, it's Ultimate Venom. I'm sorry. I thought it was Maximum.
No, it's Maximum Venom.
Oh, the funny thing is that on the Deadline story, the subtext underneath it said Marvel's Spider-Man Ultimate Venom logo.
Well, okay, here's the thing: they can't read. So why are you taking notes from the people who can't read when it's slapped right in front
It's
of them?
Maximum Venom.
Okay, so
I was right. Go ahead.
You were right, correct. I'm sorry. My bad, Brad. All right, so the Marvel Spider-Man cartoon that everyone hates is going to have its season 2 with the story.
Three.
No. I'm going back a little bit, Brad. Season 2 has not even premiered yet, and they're talking about season 3. Season 2 is going to deal with a sanitized version of Superior Spider-Man.
Hasn't season 2 already? Didn't season 2 start because the first season ended with the Hobgoblin arc, and then
No, the
Well,
first season.
why do I even know about that?
The first season ended with the teaser for Superior Spider-Man.
Real quick, Zach, do you watch the show, the cartoon?
I have watched the show.
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
The over reliance on science, the slotisms that is permeated that show. The fact that we had Screwball as Liz Allen for some reason. The fact that we have Max Modell and Horizon Universe, like Horizon High School, because we demanded that it be, Horizon Labs and high school mashup. The fact is that you've got Aranya Girl as one of the characters. You got Spider-Gwen as one of the characters. You got Miles as one of the characters. So it's
sounds like a mess.
You got 4 Spider people in the same show. One of the annoyances that I had is they brought in the Jackal and they couldn't even get Miles Warren's freaking name right. They had to go with
what they call him.
Oh, they called him by his brother's name, and I can't remember his brother's name off the top of my head. Peter's principal in high school in the 616.
Oh,
because there was it was
yeah.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
the one with bald head and the mustache. I can see him, I just can't remember his name. But anyway,
also he's Gwen's uncle.
Yeah, and somehow he's Gwen's.
Is it Raymond?
Yeah, Raymond
Warren.
Raymond Warren, because we couldn't call him Miles Warren because we already had Miles freaking Morales on the show. We couldn't have 2 Mileses on the show.
Wait a minute. Whoa. So he was Gwen's uncle?
Yes, all along.
Doesn't that make Miles Warren Gwen's uncle also?
I don't know.
Isn't that disgusting?
George, wait a minute. George, you're expecting this show to make sense.
Miles Warren. Wait a minute.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna make a graph. 1 sec.
Wait a minute. Okay, so Raymond Warren is related to Miles Warren, and Raymond Warren is Gwen Stacy's uncle.
Stacy's uncle.
So here's Gwen.
No, I got it. That's weird.
Yeah.
George.
We had a Spider Island plot that went 5 episodes on the series.
This is like Slot's cartoon.
This is like if Dan Slott threw up on an animation video. So when I talk about how bad this show is, and this is the second consecutive show that Disney has ran, and I don't get what Disney's doing right now. I've heard great things about the DuckTales reboot, but that's been the exception to the rule. It's like Disney.
Well, that's because it's made by Marvel Entertainment or Marvel Animation. Whereas
this is because Jeff Loeb has something to do with it with Stephen Wacker. That's exactly what it is.
Tell me what Maximum Venom is going to be about.
That's all our setup for season 3, because Disney XD ordered this with a spring 2020 premiere. We got Spider-Man Maximum Venom because Peter Parker's alter ego is pushed to his breaking point when the always volatile Venom summons a global threat from his alien homeworld. Because you demanded it, we're going to get basically Planet of the goddamn symbiotes.
Planet of the symbiotes. Oh no!
Yes,
Animation form.
yes. Because you demanded it, we're
that
we
sounds
planted
bad.
we planted the seeds in 2 seasons of Marvel's. This is quote from Court Lane, Senior Vice President, Marvel Animation and Family Entertainment. This is the most epic conflict in the history of Marvel animation. You are just full of
What?
Wow.
What is the Galactus arc from Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes?
Yeah. We had 2 seasons of an incredible show, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Yeah. Anyway, we planted the seeds in 2 seasons of Marvel's Spider-Man and 3 seasons of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, but you don't need to watch them to be blown away by this colossal confrontation. While a ton of guest heroes will be on hand. Translation: Peter Parker will be a guest star in his own freaking TV show. Peter Parker's special link to Venom makes him the only hero who can tip the scales to save humanity. Why? Oh, why are we doing this?
Oh, I have a question. How much do you want to bet they'll introduce the Clintar and Venom as a space knight?
Oh, wait.
Like out of nowhere.
Man.
Yeah.
Sounds horrible.
Yes, but here's the crux of the argument. During the first part of its 2nd season, Disney XD's Marvel Spider-Man ranked as the #1 series on cable in the Monday 6 p.m. half-hour time slot among kids between 6 and 11 and boys 6 and 11 because it's Spider-Man, it's a cartoon, and little boys like Spider-Man cartoons. That's also why it did so well.
Also, cable is dying, so that's not saying much.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. So let's open it up. Are you excited for this?
What are you?
There's only one appropriate response to this whole thing.
Okay.
What do you think?
Why? He wrote on a
with the little
whiteboard
venoms,
why.
with the little venoms on the
With
as the
venom
exclamation
points. Bottom line, I guess we're all too old for this show.
No.
Well, yeah.
There's no such thing as being too old for cartoons. If you make a good cartoon, it can it can appeal to any age.
Exactly.
You can't say it's just for kids because that's a lie. Cartoons are for everybody.
In the last 15 years, or last 10 years,
Neil's about to go off on me.
We've had.
Very strong.
Whoa, he's smacking something. Woo.
Here's the thing: we have had 2 shining examples of cartoons that were created in the Marvel realm that were created for kids, but they also were beloved by adults. Earth's Mightiest Heroes and Spectacular Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's like
when you have passionate fans like Greg Weisman and the boys that wrote Earth's Mightiest Heroes, who did a little bit, they also did a little bit of work on behind the scenes on Spectacular too. When they're fans and they have respect for the audience's intelligence in both cases, that's how this works. But it seems like ever since Disney started doing animation with Marvel, it has been applying it to the lowest common denominator, and that's something that's been vindicative of the Disney approach over the last 20 years. Really, is that all the cartoons that they've produced, because I've watched multiple episodes of multiple shows, has applied to the lowest common denominator. Instead of punching up to its audience, it talks down to its audience. Does that make sense?
Well, is that something that we can time around the same time that Quesada got more involved with it?
Well, EMH also Zach, EMH was made under Disney's belt. It was made in 2010, like 2 years after the Disney deal.
But I think the development was 2 years before that.
The looking down, like you were saying a second ago, Zach, that's indicative of something that Quesada is part of. Because Quesada will always look down at whatever audience he's trying to create for, as if he knows better than they do. And
maybe
go ahead.
I'm just saying maybe it's another thing because of also we've got
toys
this to consider too.
Toys.
Yeah.
Are those little pig tubes still a thing, or did they go away finally?
No, they're still around.
What are they?
By the way,
called?
Not chubbies.
Zoom zooms.
Zoom zooms.
Yeah.
Zoom zooms. Yeah.
I will say
last topic. I'm gonna move on so we can keep this thing rolling.
I was just gonna make one last statement. When we finish up all our current run of shows on Spidey Dude, let's just say there's going to be a behind the scenes stuff on Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and there will probably be some revelations that will probably get me in trouble.
Spider-Man 4, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4, is the movie that didn't happen. Neil, they started pre-production on a video game tie-in. Talk about that. I just put up the stills.
Yes. So before Peter Parker could cheat on his wife with the Vulturess, even though that's Felicia Hardy, I guess, there was a video. It was canceled. They never got. I don't think they even got beyond the concept stage, aside from like a brief outline of the script. And so they canceled the movie after they decided to reboot with Amazing Spider-Man. And so everything, along with everything that was tied to the film, was canned.
Yeah.
And so alongside that, there was a video game. I think, was it Beanox who's made...
typing so loud? What's going on?
Zach.
Go ahead.
Was it Beanox who made the first 3 games?
Yeah.
So they're the guys who have made every Spider-Man game up until Insomniac did the 2018 game. And so these guys, they were again pitched to do a Spider-Man 4 film and a Spider-Man 4 film tie-in game. And so we on the site, Brad posted some of the stills of the game, and for what was this, 2010-ish?
Yeah. Yep.
And from a 2010-ish perspective, it actually doesn't look that bad.
It's probably aimed for PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah.
So
maybe next gen, because if I don't know when the film was made, when the film was scheduled to come out, like 2013.
It was going to come out in 2011.
Oh.
And the ASM 1 came out in 2012 because they postponed this film.
They pushed it back 6 months originally because they were trying to see if they could get Raimi on, and Raimi tried to wrestle with it for 6 months. Couldn't come up with a good one, and basically said, "Okay, here you go." Because 2011, they were doing the teaser posters at San Diego Comic-Con in 2011 when I went
for Spider-Man 4. And in this movie,
ASM.
So you probably, in the video game Spider-Man 4, you probably would have fought the Vulture.
The Vulturess.
Yeah, Raimi. I read that Raimi did a recent interview, and he said, what's the actress to his Catwoman?
Holly.
Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway was actually going to be Black Cat.
How telling that in, 2 years she'd be Catwoman?
Yeah, exactly.
Catwoman in Dark Knight Returns, yeah.
So you would have, in the video game, you would probably fight the Vulture, you'd probably fight Black Cat, you'd probably fight the Lizard, because Kirk Connors was eventually leading to be the Lizard after 3 films.
I will debate. I'm not debating like the film itself, but I'm debating that like the game itself would have been like, oh, you have to fight the villains that are in the game, because in a majority of the tie-in games, they usually diverge pretty far away from the source material they're based on. Like
they do, but you eventually fight the main villains that are in the film.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you might have fought them plus some other ones. I think Carnage was probably planned because they put him in Amazing Spider-Man 2, even though he had nothing to do with the ASM 2.
I remember in Spider-Man 3, the tie-in video game, you fought Morbius. That was kind of cool.
You fought Mysterio in the first one, I think.
Yeah. Also, in Spider-Man 4, there was talk of Bruce Campbell being revealed as Mysterio, which I think would have been perfect.
Yeah.
That would have been perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been so good.
Groovy, baby.
Yeah.
And Amazing Spider-Man 2, the video game on PS2 and Xbox One, maybe, is still regarded as one of the best Spider-Man games of all time, even if it was a tie-in game.
What, Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Oh, sorry, Spider-Man 2, not Amazing.
Spider-Man 2. I was about to say, because Amazing Spider-Man 2, people hated that game. I hated that game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought ASM 2 was the ASM 2 games weren't nearly as
they weren't bad.
They weren't nearly as bad as some people thought. I enjoyed playing.
I enjoyed both of them. Anyway, I thought it was neat that the guy that was involved with the production team released some stills of what the game could have looked like. So I probably would have bought it. Who else would have bought it? Zach, you probably would have bought it. You've been buying the tie-in games. Anybody else would have bought it back in the day?
I didn't have an Xbox back then.
I would have at least rented it. I may not have bought it, but I would have rented it and played it a couple of times.
I avoided tie-in video games on principle back in the day because I was very elitist about what I played.
The Iron Man tie-in games were wretched.
Oh. Actually, what about Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 2? Did you ever play that one? Spider-Man 2, the Doc Ock one?
She's frozen.
Oh,
Anyway, Zach, you were gonna say something to me, or
yeah, the Sega game.
actually, it was an F bomb. Oh, that's funny.
I don't think I've ever. That's the first time I've ever heard her use the F
me
word.
too. That's funny.
Oh, that's kind of funny. But the Sega produced tie-in games were horrendously bad.
Yeah,
I mean horrendously.
I had the
bad.
Hulk one. It just was not good.
like
The last good Hulk game was Ultimate Destruction.
Oh yeah, I like
like
that one.
Robert Downey Jr. made his comeback for Iron Man, and they brought him in for the tie-in because this was before like he was demanding exorbitant amounts of money to the point Perlmutter was saying like, no, we're not going to put him in Civil War. But like they brought him in for voice acting, and oh my god, he didn't even try.
Oh really? Robert Downey does the voice acting in the Iron Man game?
Yeah. It was.
Oh, that's funny.
It was the jankiest game I've ever played. Like the controls were awful. Like being Iron Man should be like being able to fly around in the Iron Man suit should be like swinging around in a Spider-Man suit.
They're trying to do that. Well, I mean, Anthem kind of captured that experience, but
I ain't gonna lie. I'm super looking forward to E3 to see what that Avengers game is gonna be like. Because if it's anything like what we got with Spider-Man. Holy shit.
I mean, Square Enix is developing it, so I have high expectations.
Let's move on to the editor-in-chief, Peter. Says that Gwen Stacy is Peter's true love. What is your thoughts on this? Tell me the setup a little bit. Peter, there you are.
All right, so over there at comicbook.com, they put a little article that says Marvel editor-in-chief believes Gwen Stacy is Spider-Man's true love. But if you read the article and go down, you see that his quote says, still to this day, I think the death of Gwen Stacy is one of the always that rips my heart out. Everyone knows that Peter loves Mary Jane, but Gwen was, W-A-S, past tense, his real true love, in my opinion. Yeah, of course, Gwen was the true love during that time, but now it is different. And a lot of fans have actually asked me, is CB, is Chester, does he not like Mary Jane? And that is not the case. He has told me personally that he does like Mary Jane, thinks Mary Jane is very important, and I guess there was a picture roaming around where he quotes like, if he could date anyone in the Marvel universe, the entire Marvel universe, I almost said cinematic, that's not the case, he would date Mary Jane. A lot of people said, oh no, it'd be Psylocke for you, but no, it's Mary Jane for him. So yeah, I think that article is totally clickbait, if you ask me.
So I guess what people are trying to put in his mouth is that Gwen was the one and only, and Mary Jane's a runner-up. Is that what the clickbait is about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for Sapolsky. Like people have been giving him a bad shakedown, like even before he came on as editor-in-chief, and now that he's an editor-in-chief, he's in a spotlight that Alonso and Quesada kind of ruined. And now he's getting scrutinized for saying things he didn't even say.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for Sapolsky.
I mean, he was looking at art of a certain story, and he's passionate about it. I can get that, but that doesn't make Gwen like the one true love. I mean, let's be honest. Gwen had with Norman and went to Europe for a reason to give birth.
But no, that was a Joe Quesada JMS bull crap. No, let's call a spade a spade. Gwen Stacy was the classic Silver Age Silver Age girlfriend syndrome, and everybody has this Saint Gwen hood that we have deified this character with over the last 20 years is just so wretchedly annoying.
We talked about on the Discord that like Spider-Man Blue kind of romanticized and it intentionally romanticizes from Peter's point of view, but it romanticizes his relationship with Gwen. And unfortunately, normies come in and see Spider-Man Blue as the definitive take on Gwen Stacy. And so that kind of have a domino effect that normies think that Gwen Stacy is the true love, along with the Emma Stone take from the Amazing films.
Yeah, no
you
one
mean the
would
Emma
know who
Stone that
Gwen
acted
Stacy
more like
was.
Mary Jane than Kirsten Dunst
Point-
ever did?
Point being, normies follow the more mainstream version, not the comics.
Yeah.
So they have a sort of deified view of Gwen that leaks into the comics themselves.
Look, if you want a good deconstruction of the Gwen character, I think they're still up on the crawl space, but there was a series of articles written by Josh Latin-Bertoni called "Finding Gwen Stacy," where he went through each one of Gwen Stacy's appearances and kind of talked about, and went kind of panel by panel, and there was something that he had up on Live Journal before the great Live Journal purge of 2008. But he was posting it on the crawl space for a long time. I think he ended up finishing it finally, but the Finding Gwen Stacy articles basically showed that Gwen Stacy was really two different characters and suffered from that Silver Age girlfriend syndrome.
Gwen was a bipolar psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mary Jane.
People don't remember this. Gwen was nuts.
One minute she'd be like, Peter, you're a coward, and then she'd be like, oh, Peter, I love you so much.
She was more bipolar than Hank Pym.
The difference between Gwen Stacy and Hank Pym is that Gwen Stacy didn't backhand Peter Parker
Here we
across
go.
the room.
I knew we were.
The Pym's,
She almost did.
You hate to see
She
it.
almost did, Zach. Actually,
the
don't forget
Pym's-
that there was a. Yeah.
I coined it on the satellite title, but the Pym slap has always ruined Hank. The Pym slap.
All right, let's wrap up with the funny. George.
Oh.
George, dude
face.
webs Spidey. A dude named Spidey
You can't
webs
even
up
get
a
the headline
street.
right.
Dude webs street. Take me there, George.
Oh, well, the
And
headline is
so-
actually Toronto police warn locals that a man dressed up as Spiderman, Spider-Man, 2 words, no hyphen, is webbing up streetcar wires.
Jonah, go home.
There's a picture of a guy in a really, really bad Spider-Man costume.
He's wearing the Amazing Spider-Man 1 costume, by the way.
Yeah, with like toy web shooters or I mean, it's awful.
And blue Nikes.
Yeah, and blue tennis shoes.
So what's going on with it? He's webbing what?
Well, here's the thing. This is one of those news stories. What is this? Nar City? I don't even know what that is.
It's from Canada.
Yeah, but thank you. But it's one of these sites that has like maybe a paragraph's worth of information about what's actually happening, and then 17 pages of Twitter reaction.
and then to cap it off, 200 ads.
Yeah.
This guy is a disaster. He needs to stop before someone gets hurt. If you want to walk around dressed like a superhero, fine. But when you start endangering lives, you're just taking it too.
I'm sorry, Zach. I guess Zach's taking over from here.
No.
Yeah. let the person set it up and then talk about it.
I'm shutting the hell up.
All right, so yeah,
Goodbye.
somebody I guess reported this dude doing it at like Tuesday afternoon. I can't even believe I'm talking about this.
I would have given it to JR, but he's not here. And you can bring the funny.
It's midnight. All right.
You don't perform? What?
No, I mean, like, if you wanted the funny, you should have gone with me like an hour and a half ago,
Jeez.
Douglas. All right.
I love how half of these reactions are just memes from the Raimi films.
But no, he was using his web shooters, his toy web shooters or whatever he's got in his hands to like web up the sidewalk, and then also threw it across like the wire that the streetcar goes on, and apparently people just completely lost their chili over this.
Wait a sec. No, they changed it to a completely different guy, like midway through the article, and then there's a guy in the all different suit.
Pure hazelnut Grace, who would otherwise be an attractive girl who tries too hard to look like she doesn't give a damn, says Toronto Spider-Man is the villain our city shouldn't have to deal with right now.
Spider-Man is a masked menace.
I mean, seriously, click on her Twitter. I mean, look at it. She's, she wants to be that girl that like you take the glasses off and then she like lets her hair down and suddenly she's happy again. This, I don't know, like her profile pictures, like nobody bought her a puppy when she was younger. I feel bad for her. I want to make her laugh.
Check out the Twitter right below her about the Toronto police warning people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is it?
Can you imagine following the Toronto Police Department?
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man's on your Twitter.
line/rope over streetcar wires is now webbing off part of the sidewalk.
Public
I mean,
service,
and then it's just people reacting on Twitter. You know, it's there's a Miles Morales fan that I'm not going to quote. Go Spidey go. Saw him Sunday in Kensington too. Just an FYI for you crawl spacers in Kensington.
So be on the lookout.
It's
with
a
neighborhood watch.
continuation of the Spider-Man game.
we want pictures of Spider-Man.
He's there every day, usually on the CIBC window bars. I don't know what CIBC is. I'm assuming that's
I like
something that shows corner gas on the streets. Or
I like this tweet. I like this tweet about how this guy from Sociology Seali Hall says, "I've seen this guy on Spandia for years now. I just walk past and don't make eye contact." But the kids love him. So yeah. So avoid this guy at all costs. But your kids will love him. It's great. So it's like,
To be fair, the guy's a pretty good acrobat. He's hanging upside down from a stop sign, and he's also perched on.
And it doesn't look like he's
phone booth.
wearing a cup
No.
or any underwear. It looks like he's out there, you know, kind of commando.
That's the bold man.
He's Tom Pettying.
If you're gonna do that, man, if you're gonna do that, then tuck it back for the kids. Come on,
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently, like,
come on, tuck it back. Tuck it back. If you're gonna be around
Well,
the kids,
George,
come
that's-
on.
Toronto officers actually went there, and it's like, oh well, he's actually not a bad guy. He's just a performer. He hasn't even done anything. He hasn't even done anything that they said he did. So this was just clickbait. Nothing was accomplished here.
Yeah, but you don't understand. Clickbait will get Douglas. Douglas will look at clickbait and think that it's
His
news.
Google alerts go off with clickbait.
I
do.
guarantee you,
Equally.
Brad did not read this far enough past the he didn't read number one, he didn't read past the headline. Number two, this is someone who's worked in journalism. And he didn't read far enough
He's
into it to
teaching the
realize
next generation of journalists.
there was only one paragraph's worth of content, and the rest of it was Twitter reaction.
You
Brad,
know,
why'd you give us this, Brad? This is garbage.
You know, it's a good off-the-wall Spider-Man story when at the very end of the wrap-up, they blame me.
It's not a
They blame me that they couldn't bring the funny.
What Brad's here for? He's just here for the chaos.
Exactly. I set it up.
Blaming.
I toss you a softball. It's up to you if you hit it out of the park. And then when you don't, you're like, that damn Douglas. You can't bring me any more."
Potato instead of a
No,
softball.
This
Brad.
isn't even news, Brad.
Okay. All right. Let's see if you can do better. Okay. Talk about cereal.
Oh my god.
Spider-Man and cereal. Let's see if you can do it, George. It's on you, sir. It's your gift. It's your
No,
curse.
no. Okay.
Come on, George, you can do it.
This is the
Come on.
exact
You
same
can do it.
problem, Douglas.
God.
It's a Texas story too.
He pitched
If he
it to you, George. Now
if he doesn't-
slam it out of
if
here.
If he doesn't want to do it, I'll do it because
No,
but George,
You have 3 Texans here, and you give it to George. You give him the same exact thing you just did to him. You're making this poor man suffer, trying to bring the
George,
funny.
do you want to bring the funny for cereal, or do you want me to give it to another Texan?
I don't know that there's a lot of funny to bring to this. This is basically an ad.
Okay, bring it. Tell me how we can watch the Spider-Man movie.
Oh my god.
Come on,
You can watch
George.
this
you
in
can do
Antonio
it.
at the Alamo Draft House where they're going to have all you can eat, or like a cereal buffet.
Okay,
That's literally it.
And wear pajamas.
with different
And
types
paja-
of milk.
This is
Almond
just-
milk,
Okay, Zach,
lactose-free milk.
take it. Tell me what the story is. Go ahead, Zach.
Okay, so basically on the 6th of July, they're going to be doing a showing of the 10 o'clock showing of Spider-Man, Iron Man Jr. Far From Home,
Far from Spider-Man.
Far From Spider-Man. And that particular showing, they're going to have all a poopapalooza of cereal and various milks, so that way, in case you're lactose intolerant, you're not going to fart your way through the entire film.
You know what? I tell you this. They do mention on here that they're going to have options like almond and lactose-free milks. And I tell you what, vanilla almond milk is one of the tastiest things I've ever had in my
Oh
life.
yeah,
I've never had it.
Yep.
It's a good
It
point.
is
I can't
legitimately
eat it
good.
because I'll
It is
die.
legitimately good.
So here's my question. You know, can you imagine sitting in the movie theater
Be sure to wear your pajamas, by the way.
in your Spider-Man PJs? Dude next to you has a bowl of Captain Crunch. On your right, dude on your left has a bowl of Captain Crunch. Can you even hear?
Why do they both have to have Captain Crunch?
Can
Why
you
can't
even
one have
hear
Raisin
the
Bran?
movie? Can
Oh
you
my
even
God.
hear the movie with all this cereal cracking?
Yeah, well, people go
How's
into
it different from popcorn?
This-
Popcorn's a
soda.
little quieter than cereal
No, it's
munching.
Is it
not.
Well, Douglas, you are high. What,
It's gonna
what
be
did
the
you
movie
smoke
theater. Movie
before
theater's
you gave
incredibly
these rules?
loud.
Can I have some, Brad?
Did you get some hash brownies from the freaking corner store
How-
before we started this?
Has any of the Texas panelists been to this theater?
An Alamo Draft. I mean, they're all over the place, aren't they? There's
No,
one.
they're
not all over the place.
They're mainly in Central and East Texas.
I've been to the one in. I've been to. I think there's more than one in Austin. I can't say for sure, but I've been to one in Austin. It's good.
I mean, of the three Texans, Berryman and Neil have a better chance of going to. The nearest Alamo Draft House, I think, is Lubbock to me, and that's 3 hours away.
Really, the only reason it's even a big name is because it used to be associated with Ain't It Cool. Back when Ain't It Cool, back when Ain't It Cool was still relevant, and I don't know, not rapey.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so-
you know,
Well,
but,
y'all
I mean,
can have the cereal. I'll do you one better. Theater by Me does bottomless cocktails for brunch, so I can go watch.
I want.
you'll need them.
You can drink your way through the movie.
Okay, so I'm going to ask it to the panelists. I'm going to start with Zach, and then I'm going to work my way through. Zach, would you get in your pajamas and go down to the theater and for a bowl of cereal and watch the Spider-Man movie? Go.
I'll think about it.
Neil, PJs, Captain Crunch.
No, because I don't like torturing myself. What's wrong with you?
Mike?
Well, considering my pajamas are my boxers, I'd probably get arrested if I showed up at this thing.
Ooh.
Come here, kid.
That'll be the next. That'll be next month's article.
Wow.
Man walks in naked to Alamo Draft House. I'm in my pajamas.
One way to watch Spider-Man movie.
Gets
and That way
arrested.
Brad can have it in the podcast.
That sounds like a Florida man
walks in with-
challenge.
I
walks
will
in with his
guarantee-
banana hammock.
I will
You've been
guarantee
warned.
all of you, if you are ever arrested and it's Spider-Man related, we're talking about it on the
my
show.
Why?
I just be warned, if you go to a theater with children in your boxers and you get some
I could just.
frosted flakes, I'm talking about it next month, McNulty.
I can already see the reactions in the article from next month about McNulty getting arrested for showing up at the all-you-can-eat Spider-Man cereal
Spider-Man
party.
dress.
No, you know what? I
No.
can make this work.
Said one concerned
would-
mother.
Okay, if
I
I
can make
may,
this
I'm gonna.
work.
All
If I
right,
ever
what?
go missing, I will somehow make it Spider related, and Brad will track it down and snooze, my kidnapping or whatever's happening.
Zach,
We'll make a
abducted by
spin-off
clones.
podcast of a missing persons of Ashley's missing persons story, and then it'll probably be the biggest trending part of the podcast.
all right,
It'll be
George.
Spider-Man related.
George, are you getting up at 10 a.m., seeing a movie you don't want to see, to eat some cereal with some kids?
I'm gonna sleep until noon. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna have some peanut butter Captain Crunch with vanilla almond milk, and I'm gonna watch Spider-Man 2.
Okay, so
Okay.
I figured out Brad's thought process. I know that I'm kind of throwing one of my podcasters under the bus, but it gets me some mad ad revenue. So
There you go.
Yep.
go, boy.
We're not getting any ad revenue. If we were
Oh, Zach's
child,
about to go off.
please.
He's gonna have a
Whoa.
seizure.
You're like
All
James
right,
Brown with the.
Let's
Okay,
let's
Let me
hit
get
it back
I'm
to
not done with
Toronto.
the panel in their pajamas. Hold on. When have I ever said that? Peter, are you dressing in your Spider-Man PJs and getting some cereal at 10 in the morning?
No.
No.
I can just
Are
eat
you,
at home.
are you, hey, if somebody asked you to wear your costume to like the like opening night of the movie, would you do it?
No. Because I have gone to a Christmas party dressed as Spider-Man where they asked me to show up. And I have little kids coming up to me saying, "Did Tony send me?" Never again.
Oh.
Never again.
Okay, Peter, that's like getting,
Wow.
that's like getting a middle finger.
Oh.
It's that bad, guys.
Oh.
I wish I went commando during that time.
Oh.
Tony sent me.
You just ruined my
Tony
evening.
Stank.
Tony
Peter,
Stank,
thanks.
man. That was
I
really
would've gone
just an
commando
awful
to that
story.
You should have
now,
dusted those kids.
Man. Ashley, PJs and cereal.
Throwing a mimosa, then you got a deal.
Mimosa and cereal.
I want a
Why
picture.
not?
I want pictures of you and Jack in your jammies eating some cereal at the theater.
I think that's funny. One more round. Ashley, favorite cereal, go.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Peter.
Cheerios.
George.
It depends on what time of year it is, but either peanut butter Captain Crunch or Cocoa Pebbles.
Mike, favorite cereal.
Rice Krispies
Oh, there
with
you
strawberries.
go. Oh, strawberry.
Yeah.
Neil, favorite cereal.
Golden Grahams.
Golden Grams. And Zach.
Golden Grahams.
Three-way tie between Raisin Bran, Frosted Flakes, and Honey Nut Cheerios.
Lucky
Pick one.
Charms. Lucky Charms without the oats. For me, that would be marshmallows.
Shut up,
You can buy
Neil.
the marshmallows on Amazon.
No.
I know. I've seen those. Okay.
You're the
So
final
we-
story.
When have we ever ended on cereal talk? Never.
No,
Probably
and
never will
still-
again.
We still got the other performer in Toronto there, Douglas, that you gave me.
Oh,
We
I
do?
thought it was the same guy in
The
Toronto.
Antichrist.
That he was just being.
Oh, I forgot the Antichrist. I'm so sorry.
The plot of Good Omens.
I'm so sorry. Zach, tell me about Spider-Man Antichrist.
All right, you just got to hear the headline because that's the only way we're going to bring the funny on this shit. All right. Spider-Man performer gets into intense standoff with religious group at Young Dundas with video attached. It might seem hard to believe, but in just under a week, there have been two, not just one, but two incidents involving Spider-Man performers that had ended up with police involvement in Toronto. Must be the NBA Finals. The latest incident to make headlines this week involves a Spider-Man performer getting into an intense standoff with some street preachers near Young Dundas Square. The video posted online by the gospel preaching group Torch of Christ Ministries calls the young bucker the quote Antichrist.
Spider-Man Antichrist.
And says the performer quote unquote completely lost his mind while the group was preaching in the square. In the video, which has already been viewed over 10,700 times in just 2 days.
Wait, 10,000 times? That's peanuts.
I know.
This is nothing.
Okay.
This is
So
the
you gotta
Daily
pre-
Hive
It is
Toronto.
it is for like a guy for this guy probably.
So let me get this straight. We got a group preaching the gospel, and then Spider-Man street performer doesn't like it.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So the performer approaches the religious group and begins confronting them for taking up permit space where he, quote, wants to work, referring to the very busy corner at the square where bucksters often perform. A member, this is so Canadian, it's not even funny in terms of how it's written. A member of the religious group begins to call him childish, which only escalates the situation. Performer informs the group he is a Roman Catholic and they believe in the same God, asking them to quote unquote turn the other cheek.
Turn the other cheek. Leave me alone. I'm wearing spandex here. Let me do my thing.
Same God, bro. Same God.
Right?
This is a social experiment.
Translation:
Daredevil.
kiss my spandex-cheeked ass. Anyway,
Right.
I just added that part for effect. Tensions between the performer and the group continue to build, which eventually leads to Spider-Man talking to the police.
Hey, officer, I'm the
That's
one
it.
sitting on.
Hey,
I'm the
officer,
one
can you arrest the? That's almost like the Ron White, drunken public story. Officer, they threw me into public.
Officer, they said mean things about me.
Yeah,
Arrest them.
Maybe that will get you demonetized by on YouTube. Anyway, tensions between the performer and the group continue to build. The video of the incident was recently shared in a neighborhood Facebook group, and comments suggest the same religious group has recently been causing disturbances in other parts of the city.
I love how it implies there's enough people left on Facebook to make a neighborhood group.
There was a religious group at Baldwin and Kensington Street with a loudspeaker and a cameraman while local residents were banging on pots and pans trying to disrupt the preaching. one Facebook user adding, "There were 3 police cars. They're controlling the scene. It seems like the religious group was out on a mission across the city today." So, apparently, this religious group is a scourge upon Toronto because
it's Canada.
Because the Canadians are super woke, and then the video is labeled, quote, "Antichrist Spider-Man loses his mind." This is a 40-minute and 9-second video.
God.
Yeah.
Wow. Here's the question though, Zach. Did you watch the whole thing?
Oh my God.
Did you?
Does this face look like that I actually watched the video?
You did not.
I did not. No.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I did this bleeping cold, okay? Because I already
you read the whole article to us.
yeah. Well, you know what? I had to like stretch some time, Douglas, because you're like at least this was like 17 paragraphs. Actually, it was like 17 sentences that were formed into paragraphs because that's incredibly poor sentence structure. Anyway,
I just give you softballs.
Take some breaths, Zach. You're suddenly going to run out of air.
Anyway,
at the end of the day, basically, if you're a Spider-Man performer, stop being a jackass. Otherwise, we're going to talk about you on this freaking show.
Very true. Very
But
true.
then Brad won't have any
that's a
material
warning
for the podcast. That's the thing. So
that's very true.
So next month, when the Raptors win the NBA championship, and we get to the news of the next month, there will be some sort of Spider-Man performer participating in riots in the city, because that's what happens every time a team wins the NBA finals.
Also, McNulty's going in his boxers with a bowl of cereal.
He's gonna go in his boxers with a bowl of cereal and be like, "This is fine."
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine.
He's just watching the film.
Everything is in flames, and there will be a guy dressed in a Spider-Man hoodie. And he'd be like, Brad, "So there was riots in Toronto, and a guy in Spider-Man hoodie is there. Go, Joiner!"
I want
to say F off, but our F quotient was reached
It's really going
already
to be
with
hard
Ashley.
for me to go to church and not, think about this. I could be up there in my costume.
I love how the head.
George has been really quiet. What do you think of Antichrist Spider-Man?
I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed so bad.
All right, we'll go around the horn. Zach, final thoughts.
If you liked this video, despite the crappy news topics, give us a like, a share, and a subscribe.
What other show can you hear about Antichrist Spider-Man? Cereal munching Spider-Man.
I love how as soon as I started talking about, started doing the things that everybody on YouTube does, like freaking Neil's like throwing the headset off.
Final thoughts, Neil.
First off, Zach, stop. Just stop. You're.
Also, let's go, bro. Let's go. Come on.
Final thoughts, Neil.
You're an adult. You're an adult, Joiner. Just stop.
That's his final thoughts.
He's really not.
Mike, final thoughts.
Well, after Zach's last story, I probably should go to confession now. So,
in the Spider-Man costume, I got one for you.
In your box?
Yeah.
Bring some cereal.
No, I'm not bringing.
Hey, we got 907 subscribers. We want to get to 1,000 soon.
We do.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, Peter.
I want to give Zach and Neil a necro sword and just let them go at it.
The necro sword.
Hey, George, remember the necro sword? It's your favorite.
Yeah, necro sword fighting.
Final thoughts, George.
I want to go to bed.
You've been there. All right. Again, like the last episode, we started with Ashley. We'll end with Ashley. Final thoughts, Ashley.
Well, I leave this scenario for everyone.
Ashley is the alpha and the omega.
Yes. So you complain about Brad's stories now. How much longer till he goes full Nightcrawler and starts making his own Spider-Man stories for us to report on?
Oh no!
Oh, no! Damn!
Florida man goes.
I guarantee you, if the Spider-Man happens, or if the Spider-Man story happens in Joplin, we're going to know it's Brad because he's not committed enough to drive to another city to do it.
Maximum carnage.
What if he could do it? Organize it like a whole web of associates, and he can like put out calls.
So if I had Parker Industries, I almost said Wayne Enterprises, I would buy all of you plane tickets and we would go to the Alamo Draft, and I'd buy movie tickets for the cereal buffet, and
What
we
kind of
would all
cereal?
get a big picture of us eating our Cocoa Puffs.
Holding up the crawl
I
space.
guarantee you, if you sent a ticket to George, he would make a video of him either setting it on fire or putting it in the shredder.
George,
'Cause
you
he
wouldn't
hates
even
the
go
food.
if I brought you a limo.
Well, okay. First of all, I don't fly.
Okay.
If I wanted to go to this thing, it's in San Antonio. It's 5 hours away from me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Number two,
And
no,
if
I'm
he's gonna
not.
drive 5 hours, he could drive 5 hours and see me.
I'm not. Yeah, if I wanted to drive, I don't do that because I don't want to.
Exactly.
If I could, I mean, I might like if they were showing Godzilla up here and it was like, oh hey, come have breakfast. I'd be like, you know what, sure, let's have some cereal, Godzilla, whatever. I'm not seeing Spider-Man 2. I'm not going to go see it in the theater. Not with cereal
too bad.
buffets or
I'd
anything.
love to have you on the review show.
Well, I don't hate myself enough anymore to keep putting up with this craptastic version of Spider-Man. I don't.
Okay.
The comics are good now. I can rely on the comics for the first time in 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't need to see this subpar, terrible version of Spider-Man. I don't need to suffer through it.
What's Zach?
If I bought Barryman a ticket.
No,
I don't think it's a matter of cost.
No, it's not. I don't want to see it.
He doesn't want to get part with his time.
I don't want to.
No.
I don't want to have to suffer through it.
If I bought a ticket and we went together,
He doesn't want to go.
would you, and we could both mock it in the theater and go.
So it's two things I hate instead of just the one.
So wait,
George, we're gonna play one more what if.
Oh, can we play one more? Go to effing bed.
No. This is the final what if. I somehow convinced Christina Hendricks to go see Spider-Man Far From Home with you. Would you go?
Oh yeah, it's Christina Hendricks.
don't even talk to me. Just talk to her.
I got him.
I'd shut my damn mouth and she'd be like, "Oh, Spider-Man's so cute." Be like, "Yeah." Oh yeah.
I mean, I just looked. I am off on the second. They're
You're not Christina Hendricks.
That's true. Yeah.
Who else is on your list, George? Christina Hendricks, I knew.
Bed
Denise
is on
Milani.
my list.
Denise,
Pillow and a blanket are on my list, Douglas.
the other one is
Is
Denise
Marissa-
Milani.
What part of I'd like to go to bed are you not getting? Do I need to hire a skywriter?
All right. Thank you,
Spell it out over
YouTube.
your house.
Thank you.
I want to go to bed.
All right. That's a wrap, I guess. All right.
And with that, that's how we're
YouTubers-
gonna like. That's how we're gonna end the
Oh my
episode. Be sure to
God.
like, share, and subscribe. And
And so George can go to bed.
Yeah,
All right, gang.
in his PJ
Let me hit
with cereal.
stop.
I
Broadcast.